Shri Prakash Shah, President of AISEC, Professor Naskar, Professor Arun Kumar, and so many other very distinguished academicians on the dais. And more than anything else, this wonderful assembly, this wonderful parliament. I cannot express to you how inspiring it is just to be here with all of you. I think the very fact that all of you have taken the trouble to come from all over the country, obviously we know it's not easy. You have given up your so many commitments. You have made a lot of effort. You are, I'm sure, facing a lot of physical difficulties also, despite the wonderful arrangements that have been made by our hosts. But still, I think I am so impressed that there are still so many people in this country who can take the trouble to get together and spend a whole day talking about education. You know, it is really, really very heartwarming because it is my continuous and constant complaint to everybody that in this country, our politicians, our political parties, our civil society, all of us, we are not taking education seriously. We are not taking what's happening to our education system seriously. And I feel very strongly that with good luck and hard work and the wind blowing in the right direction, we may overturn governments. That can happen very quickly also. But it is not easy to rebuild institutions once they are destroyed or weakened. We all know, as academicians who've spent their whole life, I taught for almost 45 years in JNU, what effort it takes, how our seniors, the people who are our mentors, who founded JNU, how much effort they put into the building of that university, how much sacrifices they made. And we all know that those things cannot be just replicated. There is no blueprint that tomorrow, okay, we are back in action and we have a blueprint and we put it back and we can rebuild all this. So, this is why I believe that resistance continuously, even while we are in adverse situations, it is not that we can just wait for a change to happen and then we will, okay, get everything back into shape. We have to continue resisting because the more we go on losing, the more the attack goes on succeeding, the weaker we will become. And the more difficult it will be for us, as I said, even when the wind changes, as Gandhiji said, do not despair. Despots come, but they also go. Nobody can last forever. But we have to be aware. We cannot just wait for that wonderful day and then say, okay, we will now start rebuilding from scratch. Because unlike physical structures, institutional structures are a very delicate organism. We know that certain things, once they give way, it is very difficult to put them together again. They are a bit like Humpty Dumpty, which is not easy to put together again. And that is why I want to spend a little time. We all know in general terms about the crisis in education. We know about the assault on education. And there are so many sectors about which we've talked since the morning. The way the school system has been attacked, the privatization, the reduction in the number of schools, what is happening at different levels, at broad levels, the privatization especially that most of us have mentioned, uh, and of course the communalization. I think I would also like to emphasize, like many speakers before me did, the speaker before me also emphasized, that we have not only to look at the form of education, हमको ये भी देखना है कि हम पढ़ा क्या रहे हैं। सिर्फ ये नहीं कि कितने स्कूल खुले हैं, कितने कॉलेज खुले हैं, कितनी यूनिवर्सिटीज खुली है या बंद हुए हैं या प्राइवेट है या क्या है। हमको ये भी देखना है कि उनके अंदर किताबें क्या है, उनका पाठ्यक्रम क्या है, उनका करिकुलम क्या है। And I want to emphasize this, that one of the ways in which communalization has been happening, we all know about NCRT textbooks, so I will not emphasize that. Speakers before me have spoken on it, but I do want to say it's a very serious matter because what children are taught in school at a very young age, and at the young age, you take teacher as a god and you take the textbook as a almost like a religious text. You think printed word is there, it has to be true. So it's a very serious matter. But I want to go beyond that and say, including at the undergraduate and postgraduate levels, the kind of communalization that is taking place of the curriculum. You just take the BA curriculum, which the UGC has recommended. It has not been seriously talked about, not seriously commented upon. I'm sorry to say, very few people have talked about it. Among them is Professor Irfan Habib, who's written on it extensively. But Professor Thorat mentioned it and talked about it also in the morning. But we have to go into more detail. We have to become aware. We have to start examining in our universities from where we come. What are we actually teaching? What is actually we are being told that in the next session, this is what you have to teach. We have to critique it. And I think we have to do far more serious content analysis of what the government, the UGC, NCRT, and all is doing. We need to have far more smaller seminars where people from different disciplines need to get together, divide the books amongst themselves, get the school teachers involved, comment on them, and put them all together, science, social science, everything, so that we know first. The first principle of resistance is knowledge. We must know at a more concrete level what is the assault that we are facing, and not only in general terms. So I will emphasize a lot of hard work needs to be done. And this is an ideal forum where we have so many people, competent people and committed people who can actually show their commitment and spend their energies in putting together material which will be extremely useful for the pushback which we need to do. And this is where I want to take a little bit of time to just give you some concrete examples of what we are facing. Many of this you people may know, many of the details you may not know. But I think it's extremely important to know from close quarters what is happening to the best of our institutions. And I will give you examples from two institutions that I know closely. One is the Delhi University, which is a very big undergraduate university with more than 100 colleges, and the JNU, which is a smaller university with no affiliating colleges but postgraduate departments and one undergraduate department, but a lot of focus on research. And show you tell you actually what is happening over there inside those universities, how they are being willfully attacked and destroyed. It is not happening in a casual way. These are very planned exercises, well thought out.
I'll give
And
you one
one
example.
example,
You
you
might
might
remember
remember
that
that
there
there
was
was the very famous case of Umar Khalid and Anirban and Kanhaiya Kumar. Three of our students were picked up and put in jail. I'll give you the date because it's very significant. It was the 9th of February. There was a staged, managed show where some so-called Kashmiri students came and shouted some slogans. It was all stage managed. ZTV news happened to be there by chance. Immediately it was flashed on the national screens. Next day, these boys were picked up and put in jail. Kanhaiya Kumar was the president. He had nothing to do with the event, nothing to do with anything. But the significant point is this happened on the 9th of February 2016. Our new vice chancellor, Mr. Jagadish Kumar, who had been sent to JNU with the specific task of destroying it, had only taken over on after the 26th of January 2016. I'm telling you, the attack was executed in less than a fortnight. When a new vice chancellor comes and takes over, what does he first do in a university? He gets to know the people, he visits hostels, he visits departments, he meets faculty members, he's finding his feet. He doesn't take action for at least 4 or 5 months, he doesn't disturb anything. Here is a vice chancellor who comes, and within 15 days of his arrival, a major national event happens where students are picked up, thrown into jail, and the national TV makes a big drama about Tukde Tukde gang, a label which is still stuck to the campus, so much so that on that occasion, the scooter wala, auto walas, and taxi walas used to say, "Tum JNU nahi jayenge, क्योंकि वहां पे एंटी टेररिस्ट लोग रहते हैं, वहां पे टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग के लोग रहते हैं." This is what we faced. It was all as we know, it was a state managed thing. There was nothing to it. No case has been proven, nothing has been done. So from that time, we have been facing There's first this direct assault, and then the indirect, not so visible assaults, which are there, which I will just note for you a few of them. One is that how the entrance exam system, which Professor Thorat, if you remember, talked about in the morning. He said, how has JNU become so quickly? Did it become number one university? He says, because we had this beautiful entrance exam, which was all India. We used to have centers all over the country. The exam used to be held. The teachers used to themselves go and supervise each center. It was not left to administration or given farmed out to some company or private firm as it is done now. And then there used to be an interview for at the research level, and this is how we used to recruit carefully. Now that has been done away with. A centralized entrance exam at postgraduate level has been imposed upon the university, and immediately the quality of the students has fallen down. Because it's bound to. Now it's very mechanized. We had an all India character. We used to get students from all over the country. Now we are shifting into a North Indian and slightly East Indian university. South numbers from South have declined. Number from many other parts of the country have already declined. So the national character of JNU has already been seriously affected. Very, very importantly, what has happened is, I don't have the figures with me right now, but maybe Professor Satyanan Sinha can help me. The research program of JNU has been destroyed. JNU is primarily conceived of as a research university. And how has it been destroyed? In a bloodless coup. The UGC has a rule, passed a rule saying teachers cannot guide more than either 4 or 6 or 8 students, depending on if you're a professor or associate professor or assistant professor. Earlier, nobody imposed that rule. Now, suddenly they imposed that rule. Result, if you were taking in 30 students in 1 year, you can't even take more than 4 because it depends on the vacancy that a teacher has. If you're already guiding 8 students, you can't take one more. Teacher says, I want to guide more. I'm willing to take the student. They say no. So, in fact, I think our research intake has come down to something like 1/4 or 1/6 or even more. You probably know the figures. It's 1/6 of what it was. Nobody knows. Nobody talks about it. It's one of the best hidden facts. Even inside JNU, you ask a student, they'll just say, "Humko admission nahi milta hai," but nobody knows how and why it's happening. This is a deliberate policy of killing research. How beautiful. You don't have to do anything and you can just kill the university by doing this. Similarly, the fellowship programs and various other things like that have happened, which have completely destroyed the earlier character of JNU. And of course, where the teachers are concerned, just as in 2016 on February 9th, as I said, the students were attacked. The Januta had given a call for the teachers to come at lunchtime and do a silent march inside the campus for half an hour. So I think some 60, 70 teachers turned up, including Professor Sinha, and they walked for about half an hour. That's all. Nothing. It was on, I forget even the subject of what the protest was. It was not something very significant. Security people took some photographs. Out of them, they selected randomly 48 people and sent them notices for inquiry. That inquiry has been instituted against you, show cause why you should not be this, that. And then whenever those teachers came up for sabbatical, for seminar leave, somebody wanted to go abroad to present a paper, somebody wanted to take sabbatical, somebody retired, pension denied, gratuity denied, leave denied, semester sabbatical denied. So one by one, and it happened again, I'm telling you, the way these are done in a very consistent way, no policy announcement, this is what we are going to do to you, one by one. So you also divide. People would think it's me. It's just happening to me. Why is it happening to me? And individually, people had to fight cases because there was no collective action against anyone. So many of the teachers had to individually, with their own money, go and fight cases in the court just to get their pension. Some of our colleagues died without getting their pension. Others had to fight and still haven't got their gratuity. Many have been waiting for years. There are still cases which are pending. And now you can imagine these are ordinary middle class people, what it does to the rest of the community. These are ways of frightening. These are ways of telling you, don't you dare get up and resist. But I will come to that later. The level of recruitment, the way it's happening is very clearly lists come from somewhere. We all know from where. So much so that inside the selection committees, some of the experts don't even know the name of the person they are recommending. When it comes to saying, who are you recommending? They say number 10, number 7, number 8. They can't take the trouble of even pronouncing the full name. So all they know is a list, and they're being told this number you have to recommend. People are humiliated. Our colleagues who go up for promotion, either promotion interview is not held for years. If it is held, they are called and the vice chancellor humiliates them. Best scholars are humiliated. So the whole atmosphere in an institute of higher learning, you can imagine what this does to the morale of the teachers and of the students. On students, again, physical attacks. On 5th of January 2020, a large group of, again, identified students belonging to a certain right-wing organization. I'm not taking names. Then videos were there, everything was there. They came into the campus and they attacked the students' hostel. They attacked a teachers' meeting, which was happening over there. Some of our teacher friends were hurt. The secretary of the association fell into a ditch and had injury. The student union president was hurt. They physically came and attacked. Until today, not one single FIR has been filed. And in fact, on the 5th of January 2026, that is just earlier this month, the students held a protest meeting against that, saying no action has been taken for 6 years. And what happened? Never in the history of, I think, Indian universities it has ever happened. The vice chancellor wrote a letter to, written by her, official, of course. These are the students who created trouble. We have their photographs, they are identified. My security will give witness. You please file FIRs against them. There must be here people from many universities. Have you ever come across a similar case where your own vice chancellor or principal writes to the police? If you want to take action, you take action. Police wants to take the action. You are calling in the police and saying, please take action against our students. This is the degree of the assault. Time is very short. I'll cut short my thing, but I will end by saying worse and similar things have been happening in the Delhi University. Again, recruitment there is on the basis of ideological preferences, and much along with that, now I want to say it publicly. Luckily, Professor Deepak Nair in a lecture recently said it publicly, large-scale corruption. I don't want to name figures, but large sums of money are now changing hands for teacher recruitment, and it's happening openly, which had never happened in the Delhi University. I know it used to happen in other parts of the country, but in the Delhi University, this is a completely new thing. So corruption is also something which we are now facing at a different kind of level. But what I want to end with is a spirit of hope, a ray of hope. JNU students and JNU teachers, and I don't want to valorize them, but I do want to tell you that they have continued fighting. Despite the repression, despite people being, Umar Khalid and Sharjeel Islam are still in jail after 5 years. Despite that, our students are going on fighting. They are not giving up. They hold meetings, they hold protests, and teachers are doing the same. Teachers of JNU and students filed 250 cases in the Delhi High Court against their own university. And they won 4/5 of them. They actually won 4/5 of them. You know, it is not a small thing. There's a continuous battle that goes on. Students and teachers are not fighting only through legal cases. The Januta is still run by progressives. It goes on badgering the vice chancellor. Every time something happens, they write a letter. They go on badgering the deans. They go on mobilizing the people. So they're not giving up. I think it's also important to see how, in the most adverse of circumstances, you can continue fighting. But who am I telling this to? You're all fighters here. And it's from all of you that we get the inspiration to continue to do what we are doing and to make sure we do it all together. Thank you. I'm now inviting